What's going on, people? Welcome back to the channel today. Now today's going to be a bit of a different one, so stay tuned. It's going to be pretty much Sorare Explained to new users. So you might have clicked on this video today because maybe you're a bit curious to what Sorare is, maybe you've heard of it before, maybe you got into it and then didn't really understand it and then deleted it or whatever. But today we're going to be breaking up the video into three different sections. The first section will be about Sorare Explained to FIFA players. So obviously, if you played FIFA before, I'm going to sort of address it in them terms and try and explain it pretty much using FIFA terms. So sort of in the title. Secondly, is going to be Sorare Explained to FPL players. So same sort of thing, just talking about FPL and how Sorare is similar to that. And just explaining it and breaking it down to you if you play FPL, but you want to get into into Sorare as well. And then last but not least, it will be Sorare Explained to just an average football fan, because Sorare can be enjoyed by anyone, I believe. Anyone that loves football, you can definitely get into it. Now, I will say that Sorare definitely is, there's a lot of facets to it. It's quite interesting, a lot of different strategies and things like that. So, with that being said, obviously, do not forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new, because we have all sort of strategies, breakdowns, and things like that. I'm always streaming as well, so if you ever have a question from this video where you're a bit unsure, best place to probably find me is live, and just chuck the question in chat and I'll be sure to address it. And yeah, same in the comment sections if you need any comment section of this video. If you do need any help, then obviously I'll be there replying to everyone. So yeah, let's get into the video today. So, just as explained in the intro, this first section is going to be catered towards the FIFA players. So, if you play FIFA, just sort of kick back, get a drink, and I'm just going to talk to you about Sorare and how it's similar to FC or FIFA, whatever you want to call it. I'm a bit old school maybe, so I call it FIFA. I don't really call it FC, but yeah. So I'll probably call it FIFA a couple of times. Don't get too upset if I do so. But yeah, so to start things off then, obviously how you play FIFA usually is typically for a console. Obviously it's a simulation game, you collect cards. You can obviously, as on screen here, you can see you can play the web app, and you have a companion app. So there's sort of like three different avenues to access FIFA. So it's like on your phone, you can obviously buy, sell cards, stuff like that. On the web app, same sort of thing. And then on console, obviously, you can play the simulated version with the cards that you collect. Now, in relation to Sorare, I'd say Sorare you can use on the phone, and it is on the web app, as you can see here, or the web app, web page, whatever you want to call it. And I'd say it's predominantly used on sort of web page like this. So if you have a computer or a laptop, I would say the best experience for Sorare is probably going to be on that as opposed to phone. We'll get onto that sort of. Well, I guess we can quickly address it. The reason for that is sometimes the listing, like, so how on FIFA you list and buy players, on the app it's kind of yeah, it doesn't really work like that on the phone. Whereas obviously on the web page you have access to all the functions. So similar to FIFA in the sense that you probably want to use the web app as opposed to the phone app, or at least in my opinion anyway. And then yeah, so the main big difference, I guess, in FIFA and Sorare is obviously on FIFA is a simulation game. You collect all these cards, you use them in game to play a game. You pay for them, maybe you use real money, maybe you just accumulate the coins, you play the free to play kind of method, Road to Glory esque. You build up all these cars, you use them in a simulation game, and that is the fun, that is the enjoyment you get. Well, I say enjoyment, depends if you like FIFA or not, really. But yeah, I'm assuming if you're clicking on this video, you probably like FIFA. So yeah. Whereas Sorare is a little bit different. It's more like a fantasy game. So rather than simulating matches or playing games, that's not really where you get the fun and enjoyment out of. It's more watching. So if you enjoy watching football or you have a lot of knowledge on football, I think Sorare is brilliant for that. Whereas FIFA sometimes is a bit like, who's OP. You play the game, and the game is like, for example, on FIFA. Obviously, bear in mind I haven't played it in a couple of years, FIFA. But let's just say on the game, Haaland is better than no, or better example on the game. Let's just say McAllister, for whatever reason, is better than Haaland. But like obviously in real life, you probably argue the other way around. You know what I mean? But because it's a simulation game, you play to the what's meta. You know what's most used, and that is pretty much how you get the the pinnacle of FIFA, I guess, or like the best at FIFA is pretty much like how well can you control the players in the simulated version of the game, right? Whereas Sorare is a lot more fantasy and real life. So it's like you don't control them, but you pick them based on their real life performances, and then obviously you collect them and play them based on their real life performances. So obviously you don't get the aspect of a simulation, or you don't get the fun and enjoyment out of that side, but you get the fun and enjoyment of how good you actually are at scouting players in real life and how good they actually play in real life, if that makes sense. So that's the main concept. As long as you get your head around the main concept of Sorare being a more of a fantasy game as opposed to a simulation game, then I'd say that's probably the biggest difference between Sorare and FIFA, in my opinion. Now, Sorare, again, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to go into every single aspect of Sorare in this video. If you need help, you know, maybe you watch this video and you decide to download Sorare, then obviously there's going to be loads of videos on my channel and you know, guides and stuff into yeah, just how all the facets of Sorare. But the main point I wanted to get across for new users is it's a fantasy game. So what you do is you collect cards, same as you do in FIFA. You pay for them. However, well, there's two sides of Sorare. There's a free side, same as in FIFA. You can play like a Road to Glory-esque, where you would play what is called rivals here, and this is the same sort of thing. You know, you load into a game, you pick sides, you pick a five-a-side team. You can see here a five-a-side team, and then you play against another opponent online who also has another five-a-side team, and it's, you know, winner wins, and then you get rewarded based on how well you do, and that's the free to play. Then we have the pro side, which is the pay to play. So maybe if you pay for FIFA points, this is like a bit more of a you kind of thing. So there's a market in Sorare. You pay for players. There's three different scarcities, which is a bit different to, obviously, well, I guess similar to FIFA. So in FIFA you have like informs, you know, team of the seasons, team of the years, all that sort of stuff. So kind of the same in Sorare in the sense that, well, it's probably better for me to go here. So you can see here, just on the left here, there is four scarcities. Limited, which is the absolute cheap version, so imagine the gold version. Rare, which is like the step up. Then super rare, which is another big step. And then unique, which is like, you know, not very many people will have it. So a little bit different in the sense of like, so in FIFA, obviously most people have like a whole team of team of the years or whatever. Not really the same in Sorare. Sorare is like most people just have limited cards because they're the cheapest. You might go into rare a bit. Obviously, that's a story for a different video. You know, probably like a scarcity breakdown video. Go into full details about all of them. But yeah, I'm gonna predominantly focus on the limited market here because. Especially if you're a new user, you should be focusing just on the limited cards because they're the cheapest, you know what I mean? So you don't want to be making any big mistakes in rare because you might lose out on quite a lot of money. So there is a whole same in FIFA. There's a whole market and there's a whole strategy to make money and stuff like that. But you can see on here there's prices of players that you can pick up now. I will say, you know, mixing scarcities and stuff like that is a bit different. Like, obviously on FIFA you can play an inform with a gold card, no problem. Whereas on Sorare it's more like you play all the scarcities together. So only limiteds will play with limiteds, really. Rares, same with that. So generally speaking, you know, you don't want to buy like one rare, one limited, one super. You want to buy like a 5-man effort for limited. With that being said, I will sort of reiterate the point. Maybe I didn't portray it enough. But in FIFA, you have 11 players. In Sorare, you only need 5. So a goalkeeper, a defender, a midfielder, an attacker, and then an extra position. Okay, so the extra position can be, you know, any other position that isn't a goalkeeper. So yeah, bearing that in mind, obviously you pick up the players that you pretty much think do well in real life, okay? And then what you do is you come to the pro side. Let's just say you build a five-a-side little Premier League team or something like that. And then you'll come in to plug the players in. So let's just say it's probably a bad example for a game week, but so you've got your little five-a-side team here. You enter them. So then you have a choice really in Sorare. So it's like either you play them and hope that they play well and you win rewards, and that's how you sort of get your return on investment, which is a bit different to FIFA. FIFA, you don't really get a return on investment, or your return on investment in FIFA is the fun and enjoyment you get from the simulation. However, and then obviously it's reset every single year. Whereas there's opportunity in Sorare to make money back. Now, I'm not saying you will make money back because you would have to get your strategy like nailed, and you'd have to be a good level to definitely be reaping rewards in Sorare. But at least there's an opportunity to make money back as opposed to FIFA where it's just the enjoyment. So depends how much you value your money, I guess. But yeah, so let's just say you have a random lineup. So here I'm just gonna throw this one together. You can see it's just a lot of random players in here. We're just you're obviously not playing, but yeah, you got your team. Let's just say this is your team, whatever. You pick a captain. So again, a little bit different to, I guess, this is more to do with like FPL. I guess if you've played FPL, you know about the captain situation. Pretty much, you just get a 50% bonus. So all of these cards will get scored basically on their real life performance. So in real life, you know, if Isak scores a hat trick, he's going to score really well. So they're all scored between 0 and 100. Now, bearing in mind, if they start the match, you start on 35. So obviously that's a good start. Generally speaking, if you score a goal, you get another 35. If you get an assist, you get another 35. And you know, you can learn all the scoring matrix as you play. The best way to learn it is definitely in Rivals, but you can sort of, you know, when you download it, you can click through this stuff and have a little look what they might lose points on, they might gain points on, and things like that. You can see on screen here, I'll leave it up, but, you know, they pretty much get an all-around score. So they get a decisive score, which is if they score, get an assist, win a penalty, something that will change the game pretty much, like a clearance off the line, last man tackle, that sort of stuff. And then you have all around, which is like, you know, duels won, minutes played, all that sort of stuff. You know, how often they're fouled, you can see here, possession lost, possession won, attempted passes, all that sort of stuff. So similar to FPL in that regard. And obviously in FIFA you just have a rating and that's how they perform in the game, whereas this is real life and that's their score, that's how they perform in real life. And then pretty much yeah, so obviously in FIFA you're competing for virtual coins and packs and things like that, like more cards pretty much to sell for coins. Whereas here in Sorare, you compete for, depends what competition you play. Again, classic or in season. That's a whole different facet we go into, but pretty much these cards here, you can see these four looking a bit different to this one. So these four are in season, so you can play the in season competition with them, which means you can compete for money. Whereas if you just get the classic cards, which are a lot cheaper, you play for cards. Obviously, you can still sell the cards for money, but if you get the in season, you can just straight get money, if that makes sense. So yeah, if we have a little look, then we can see where's best to. We can just view the prize pool of classic to get a general understanding. So you can see here, this is the breakdown of sort of the rewards you get, assuming that obviously this is depending on where you place in the divisions and things and what divisions you're in, because obviously same as FIFA there's divisions. So you know there's 5 divisions at the moment. I think they're chopping it down to 3, but yeah, pretty much the higher division you are, the more chance you have of winning money essentially. And you can see that the pot for champion in season is 5,600, so it's split. Obviously that's split between, you know, however many people pretty much win it. I think it's like top 35. Pretty much it'll be split, but quite heavily. Like pretty much if you get top 3, you're going to get a decent chunk of it, and then it's sort of like filters down. Now, with that being said, the last thing I want to touch upon for sort of like FIFA players, I guess, a big difference is these sort of competitions. You can see here La Liga, Champion, Challenger, Under 23. Pretty self-explanatory. It's in the title. If they're an Under 23 player, they can play in this comp. If they're La Liga, only La Liga players can play in this comp. Now, the thing that might be a bit different, you see here is Champion, Challenger. There's also another one called Contender. Pretty much, it's just think of it like Champion is the top 5 divisions. Challenger is sort of like the middle tier of of football, should I say? So like MLS and that sort of stuff. The leagues that are like less desirable to play in, that are just under the top 5, if that makes sense, like Eredivisie and stuff like that. And then Contender is pretty much everyone else, like SPFL and that sort of stuff. So yeah, sort of split like that, and the prizes are definitely split like that. So obviously the champion would be the most desirable to play in because it has the most money. And yeah, so that is sort of my breakdown for FIFA players. So rare. Obviously, don't get me wrong, guys. I've definitely not touched upon everything. I could go on forever about so rare and strategies, but that is my breakdown for FIFA players. So pretty much it is a fantasy game as opposed to simulation game. You collect cards the same way, and then you can either sell the cards if they, perhaps if they're making you more money that way, or you can play them. And how you play them is a little bit different. Obviously, you're not playing a game; it's like a fantasy. You watch them play, and they earn points and things like that. And then, yeah, I guess the last takeaway point is the potential to actually win or make money, as opposed to obviously on FIFA where you just sort of pretty much lose the money, or you get them in virtual coins, and obviously they reset every year. So yeah, that is definitely that I guess the breaking point, I guess, where Sorare is different between FIFA. Now, I will say, if you guys are interested, the best way definitely to sign up to Sorare is through a pretty much a link, a partner, a referral link, if you like. Most sites or businesses or whatever are better to sign up through links just because you get bonuses and things like that. So, with that being said, if you've sort of listened to that section or this part of the video and then you think, oh, you know what, I might want to try it, then if you use my link down below and you go to the market and you buy 5 limited cards, you can literally just pick up the cheapest cards on the market. Like, you could pick up just 5 £1 cards. So let's just say you pay a fiver from obviously the instant buy market or auctions, up to you. Then you'll receive £50 in-game credit, which is pretty good because then you can buy a gallery that's worth £100 for just £50, if that makes sense. And obviously, I would really appreciate if you use my link because obviously I'm a small creator and I receive the same benefit as you. So if you done that, then I would receive also the £50, which is, it's a win-win for both of us. So I help you understand the game a little bit better, and I get, and in return I get £50 in game or whatever, in-game credits, which I don't think FIFA really has a correlation there. I don't really know if FIFA has a I don't think they have any in-game sort of discounts or anything like that. So I guess that's another win for Sorare in that regard. Sorare for FPL players. I won't lie, this one is definitely easier to explain. If you played FPL before, Sorare is quite easy to understand, relative to FPL. So obviously in FPL you start the year off with 100 million or whatever it is to spend on a squad, and then obviously your players earn points, and then obviously that accumulates to your total, and then obviously you enter leagues and stuff like that, and then it's like you pretty much make your own, I guess, forfeits or prizes and things like that, and it's obviously a good one to do with the boys and stuff like that. And yeah, you can see this week's kind of alright for me. But yeah, like you pretty much just build a team with money, all for free, and then if you want to add some sort of incentive to it, you usually do that outside of game with the boys. Now, Sorare, trying to explain that in Sorare terms. So pretty much Sorare is exactly the same in the sense of FPL, earn points, things like that. Now, where it's different is in Sorare you have the opportunity to invest in players as opposed to do it all for free. So you don't have to. Don't get me wrong. There is a free to play aspect in Sorare called Rivals, which is pretty much yeah, it's the same as FPL, except rather than getting a game week score and comparing it to friends, it's an actual direct head to head. So you'll set a 5-man lineup and go head to head with another player that has a 5-man lineup for this specific game, and then it's obviously winner gets rewards. Now, again, a little bit what makes Sorare different to FPL is obviously FPL you have an 11-a-side team. They're quite strict with how many defenders and that sort of thing you can have, which is fair. But yeah, in Sorare you get a 5-a-side team. You get one goalkeeper, one defender, one midfielder, one forward, and then an extra position which can be any of the outfield positions. So you could have 2 defenders, 2 midfielders, or 2 attackers if you want. So it's like a 5-a-side squad. And obviously you get a captain, same as in FPL. You don't get a vice captain, but in this free-to-play version, you do get a tactic, which I can show you here. You can see just on the bottom left here, there is 5 different tactics for the free-to-play game. We have tiki-taka, which is passing, Jogo Bonito, which is dribbling, shots on target, self-explanatory, clearances, and then gegenpresses, which is like Jules one. And then obviously that, depending on what you think your players are going to get more often, obviously you pick that one. Now I do have a full breakdown to Rivals on the channel, and there's probably loads of other videos on Rivals sort of stuff on YouTube, so I won't go too in depth with that one. But yeah, Pro, which is pretty much like the other side, which is the pay to play kind of the side of FPL or fantasy. So instead of buying, say this play, say you've got Lewis Hall, you pay however much he's worth on FPL 5 mil. Pretty much you would just pay with real life money for that player if you wanted Lewis Hall. And obviously everyone has loads of, everyone has different prices on Sorare. You can have a look here. Obviously the highest price player you can get on Sorare in the limited scarcity is Yamal, and obviously he's very expensive, don't get me wrong. But here's where I guess is different to FPL. Obviously this is very good if you have a high knowledge on players that other people won't know. Obviously Yamal is very expensive because everybody knows he's young, everybody knows he's really good. You know what I mean? Makes sense. But where Sorare is very good is if you know them really niche players that not that many people know, and you know that they're going to play really well. For example, let's just say Joris Kiambe is like going to be the next big thing. Obviously, if you pick him up for £6, if you actually believe he's going to be really, really good, and he performs really, really well in real life, he's going to be worth more, if that makes sense. So there is that opportunity of like buying and selling in Sorare where it's like, you can manipulate, or not manipulate the market, but like have a better knowledge, use your knowledge to almost buy and sell for profit. But the main reason why people play Sorare is obviously you pay for the 5-a-side team, you enter them into these competitions, and then depending on how well they do, it depends how much money you can earn back pretty much from them. So you know how much you would reap from the rewards of buying the players. Now you can see that sort of at the moment, obviously this is pre the update, but there's going to be an update pretty much that takes out the boxes aspect, so we're going to ignore the boxes for now. But if you're wondering what the boxes were, pretty much they gave you essence, which is now going to be just directly given to you. So a box was a chance of essence or level up, whereas now in the latest update they're just going to give you essence, and we use essence to craft cards, and obviously you can sell the cards for money. In classic competitions you can win cards, again sell them for money, or you can play in-season competitions which just directly gives you money based on how well you perform. So let's just say you're really good at FPL and you score like better than me every week, then it's going to be no problem for you to earn money back if you bought a very good team. But there's loads of different strategies to play in Sorare. You could buy a really, really cheap team. You could play free to play, and just try and make as much money as you can that way. But yeah, there's loads of different entities or ways to play Sorare, which again I will reiterate, there is probably a million videos on YouTube, especially on my channel. There's loads of breakdowns for like Sorare beginner guides and stuff like that on YouTube, which I do recommend if you do decide to get into Sorare. With that being said, again, I will reiterate this because obviously it's quite important. I touched upon it at the end of the explanation for FIFA players. But if you are an FPL player, you've just listened to this section of the video, the best way to sign up is definitely using my affiliate link in the description, because then you get £50 bonus. So all you have to do is go to the market, instant buy or auction 5 players. You can literally buy the cheapest 5 on the market. So let's just say you spend a fiver on these 5 players, then you'll receive a £50 bonus in game. So that means you can pay £50 and have a gallery worth £100, if that makes sense. So then pretty much what will happen is, once you've bought them 5 players, click using the referral link. When you go to buy this player that's £1.07, he'll be like 53p or 54p, whatever it is, like half price. And the reason why I say that is the best way, because obviously you want to spend as little as much money as possible and get the best players possible. That's kind of the concept of Sorare. And the reason why I say use my affiliate link is obviously because I receive the same benefits. So yeah, if you're an FPL player, check it out. Last but not least, we have Sorare Explained for the general football goer. Maybe you don't play FPL, you don't play FIFA, you just go to football matches. And obviously, if you're going to football matches, you're probably going to the best team, Cambridge United, no doubt. But yeah, maybe you go to local teams and stuff like that. But yeah, Sorare is pretty much a fantasy game like FPL, except you invest and buy players. Now, I will say, if you're just a general football lover and you go to football games, Sorare can actually be very beneficial for you in terms of the market. If you nail the market and really, you're good. Say if you're good with like stocks and things like that, I think Sorare can definitely be a very beneficial place for you to be. So like, let's just say you watch your local team. Unfortunately, Cambridge is not covered in Sorare, so probably a bad example. But pretty much most leagues are covered in Sorare now, like top 5 leagues and all that stuff. Let's just say you're a big fan of Arsenal, and you know that Ethan Nwaneri is the next up and coming thing. Obviously, when you go to type in his name into a site like Sorare, you can see that obviously now he's popping off. He's playing really good in real life, so his price is quite expensive. You'd say £13 is quite expensive, but say before he kicks a football, or maybe you've seen him play one game and you're like, wow, he's very good, young talent. Maybe on here, people haven't really realised. You could pick him up for like maybe £1 or £2, and then in a couple of months when he cooks, inevitably, because you already called it, you're an average, football goer, and you know your thing. Then you can make profit that way by holding on and then selling in the hype. Obviously, if you're good with markets and stocks and things like that, buy when there's no demand, sell in the hype. I think that's probably the best unique selling point for Sorare, is for general football fans, is using the market, buying and selling. If a player gets injured, obviously buy them because they're going to be cheaper. For example, who's injured right now? Let's say, God, am I going to have to pick this name off my head? Romero, yeah, Romero from Spurs is injured at the moment. So let's just say his price, is £11, £6. When he comes back from injury, he's going to be obviously probably more expensive, like £20 or so. So you can buy and invest pretty much depending on like injured players, and there's loads of strategies behind it for sure. But I think general football fans should definitely focus on that, because maybe you have a little bit. I'm assuming if you're a general football fan, you probably have less time to play things like fantasy games and stuff, but you can still play Sorare in that sense. Using the market, buying and selling at smart times. Maybe you just want to buy a couple of players at the start of the season that are super cheap, like young players that you can sell for profit in the future. I think that's definitely the best way to play Sorare for the average sort of fan that might not have enough time to play fantasy games or FIFA simulation games and things like that. So yeah, hope you obviously took something from the video. If you're in that regard, I will say that there is obviously a lot more content on Sorare, maybe if you wanted to dive a bit deeper into it. But the reason I made this segment a lot smaller is because I'm assuming that you probably don't have enough time in your day to be watching, especially an explanation video like this. So yeah, I kept this one short and sweet for average football fan viewers. Hopefully, you might have skipped to this part in the video and found anything useful. Maybe a bit of a, you're interested in Sorare and just wanted a little bit of a, an update or insight. So pretty much all it is you got a free to play side in Rivals, you got a pro side which you can pay for and enter the cards that you buy on the market. You can put them in competitions to win money, or if you don't have that much time, you can just buy players that you think are cheap and sell them for profit when you think they maximise their profit. With that being said, obviously use my link in below to down below to sign up. You just get benefits, especially in the market if you're going to go into market trading and things like that. If you buy 5 players, the cheapest price, 80p, £1, whatever, then you will get £50 in-game credit, so you can buy £50 worth of players. No, £100 worth of players for £50, and obviously I received the same benefit, so win-win. You know what I mean? But yeah, hopefully you learned something, and yeah. So there we have it then. That is Sorare explained to new users. Obviously, we tried to focus on the general concept of Sorare to the broader audience in football. And yeah, hopefully you learned something from this video. Obviously, you clicked on the video to try and get a bit more of a passion into Sorare. And I would definitely suggest checking out other videos, especially on this channel. For like Sorare content, Sorare strategies, and that sort of thing. Yeah, if you did enjoy it and are thinking about signing up, that's for sure. Yeah, but with that being said, I do really appreciate all the support on the channel. Obviously, this is probably more catered to the new users that might have clicked on this video for the first time. If you're a long-term subscriber, obviously you probably already have Sorare, and you love it just as much as me. So yeah, do really appreciate the support, guys. Leave a like, please, if you haven't done so already. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you guys in a future video. Peace.